Okay, so in this video, I want to finish what I started in my video earlier and kind of go through some of my more macro levels of both resistance and support. And essentially right now, the context that I am looking at is on the higher time frames, Bitcoin has broken its weekly downtrend. We have broken this last lower high in the weekly market structure, and we have closed above here and right now are consolidating above the previous resistance. So on the weekly time frame, I am potentially looking at us coming all the way back down to this weekly higher low locally to potentially continue some sort of a weekly uptrend. That's what I've been looking at. But something to keep in mind is even if we lose this local higher low in the weekly uptrend on this local weekly uptrend, that does not void the break in bearish structure that we saw, because technically we can come all the way back down to the lows and even make a double low here, and it still does not void the bullish break in structure that we saw, the break of the bearish structure, because this local stuff on the weekly does not really matter when it comes to the more macro trend. So even though I would like for us to hold this low right here and continue a local weekly uptrend, because that would mean more upside sooner, we can technically come all the way back down to the lows and still not reverse back into bearish market structure. And we know on the lower time frames we have begun a downtrend by breaking this last higher low. I'm not going to go through all structure, but we'll start from here. We had the higher low, higher high, and then a break in structure, followed by a lower high, and now I guess a lower low. You can say lower high right here, because we just did put in another low. So technically on this 6-hour structure now, this is the market structure point to look at. Now, this may change on the 12-hour or even the daily, but, on the daily, we still technically have not broken the structure. On the daily, this is the last higher low, because on this daily, we had high, low, higher low, and then higher high. You can't see really any higher highs or higher lows inside of this price action. It just goes from the low to the high, and it seems like now we have came down to SFP this low. We actually wicked below it in 3 separate daily candles, and we did close this candle above the low after taking it out, so that is technically an SFP of that low. So market structure is a little weird at this point. If you're looking at the 6-hour market structure, technically, if we come up and close above this high right here, after now having put in a lower low, then, we have broken the downtrend. So that is, a significant development. We really didn't make any significant lower highs here, and so we do have potential to reverse the 6-hour downtrend soon. And the daily trend is still intact. The daily uptrend is, as of right now, still intact. We have not closed below this level yet. If we do, you still could technically say that this is the market structure point to watch on the daily. Like I said, because we SFP'd this high, some people don't count this as a market structure break. So some people may be looking at this as the higher low. So with that being said, I think in the short term, we may be able to create more of a bias pretty soon if price continues to move to the downside and we begin to close below this low, and especially this low. Then I will basically maintain my bearish bias that I've been in, but we could also break above this high soon and essentially reverse the 6-hour structure, which would then give me a lot more confidence in saying that this was an SFP of the daily low. So now let's get right into levels of resistance for if we see that move to the upside first. And I already went through my volume levels here in my video earlier, but basically I am considering this now one range because this is pretty much the consolidation range after we broke this weekly resistance at 25K. So I am considering this one whole range at this point, and we did just wick down below the value area low of the range. Also, that 6-hour market structure point is now at the point of control of this range, and this is actually a level that I was watching a potential trade setup. I was looking for an SFP of this high into this NDPOC that we had right on top of the POC. But if we do not reject from here, if we get above the point of control, I would then be looking at the value area high. And we do have some nice confluence around that area. So firstly, if I hide the box, it was very key resistance right here and was pretty key support right here and right there with that wick. So it is a key support resistance level. It is the value area high. We also have this NDPOC that I marked out in my video earlier. Now the 0.5 fib is lining up in this area. So maybe if we get a move above that NDPOC, you could look at that 0.5. And, if we then lose the value area low again, then, obviously that would give me confidence in saying that we have rejected from there. And above that, we have another NDPOC, which is coming in around the golden pocket. I was kind of hoping we would get a move a little bit lower, maybe move that golden pocket down right on top of that NDPOC, but even now, maybe you can look for something like this where we just get a reaction off the NDPOC and then get another move up into the golden pocket. I have noticed a lot of times we will get a reaction off the NDPOC, but it isn't actually the top. Sometimes it's just, a little quick move before the actual top is put in. So I would be looking at this whole box up here. There's also, I guess, a daily level right in there. So yeah, if I turn on my daily levels, that daily is lining up pretty nicely with the golden pocket as well. So maybe for a bit more confidence in this, you would look for a reaction off the golden pocket and then maybe look for price to lose the daily level. And in my video earlier, I marked out this untapped weekly and untapped daily. The 786 of this fib is also lining up right around here. And if you take a fixed range of the downtrend here, so from that top candle, the point of control of the downtrend is coming in right on top of that untapped weekly. So I think that is some very significant confluence right there. And all of these key levels are coming in outside of the value area of this range. And right now, since we haven't broken the daily uptrend, we actually SFP'd this last higher low, I would be less interested at this moment in these resistances. Because, if we had broken the daily uptrend, then we could potentially look at these as lower highs in the daily. And then maybe these levels would have more significance. But if we're going to SFP the last daily high or low, then I may just be looking for, little moves off of these, potentially just like retracement moves, rather than trying to get in on a lower high here. But that could change. We could come down, take out all these levels, and then, these would become more significant. And now, let's say price absolutely starts dumping. We lose these daily levels, the daily high or lows. What would be the levels of support that we could look at to potentially save this local weekly uptrend? And I do have a few marked out here. So first, let's put on this fib and that fixed range. So I pulled a fib from that 19.5K low, and off the bat, the 0.5 fib is lining up with the 25K highs. So, some decent confluence there. Also, looking at this fixed range that I pulled from here, and I pulled it all the way over to price action. I will adjust it later for some different levels, but right now that's what I'm looking at. And we do have a little area of confluence right around the 25K highs. We got some high volume nodes a little bit below that level, so if we kind of wick down below here, maybe you could look at these volume levels for support. But at this point, I do feel like pretty much everybody is watching this 25K support resistance flip. It's kind of a mainstream level at this point, if you want to call it that. And when it comes to, what price actually does, it prefers to not do what everyone is expecting it to do. So I would definitely be careful about, just longing this area, because I think there's going to be a lot of people that will be doing that. And, that might make for some easy liquidity grabs. But still, if we end up finding support on this area and getting a significant reaction off it, I think that will ultimately be bullish. We will have flipped this very key resistance into support. And, it could absolutely make for a significant bottom. I'm not saying it can't, but it just seems a little bit too obvious. The next zone I'd be watching is the golden pocket and this point of control. Now, if you move this fixed range back to the lows, you take basically the volume of the uptrend. We pretty much have three main areas of volume. Number one being down by this point of control. Number two being right here, right around that point of control that I just had marked out. This high volume node is that point of control. And number three being all the way up here. So I think in terms of volume, this 23K level right now, if we start getting a move back down below this value area high, I think this is going to be one of the most significant levels and could potentially make for the higher low that we are looking for. So I would absolutely be watching that level. And finally, if we lose that volume level, personally, I would begin to get a little bit frightened in us putting in a higher low here. I think that this high volume node or point of control is going to be extremely significant, but there is still the golden pocket. If you pull a fib from the low up to this most recent high, golden pocket is coming in above the last weekly higher low. It's also around a key support resistance area. So I do have that zone marked out as well. And if you pull that fib back to here, the 786 is at the top of the box. I would probably be more focused on the golden pocket though, if we're going to come down below this point of control. And yeah, really those are, the main levels I'm watching to the upside and to the downside. I may do a little bit more work to try and refine these a little bit, see if I can't find some more confluence in these areas, maybe try and get some more specific levels. But yeah, I'd say, to the downside, I'm probably most interested in this 23K level, this point of control. But in order for us to, even think about getting down there, we would first have to break this last daily higher low. We'd have to, create some sort of a downtrend on the daily time frame. Yeah, at least at this very moment, it is seeming more likely to me that we would, come up and break this 6-hour downtrend, therefore kind of confirming the SFP of this last higher low, which I think would be pretty bullish. Maybe, it's only like a temporary retracement to the upside. This was basically just straight down. Price has been pressured to the downside. And there's probably lots of liquidity on the way up here that might want to get grabbed. Maybe then we see a lower low. But at this very moment, I am feeling, decently optimistic that we may break this 6-hour downtrend. It's because I think it is, an easy run on liquidity, like I said. But anyways, I think that is about it for this video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Also leaving a comment. I appreciate all you that leave comments on my videos. And I will see you all in the next video.